Welcome, Internet Nomad. Today I'm sharing my game tale on Kirby and the Forgotten Land. My history with Kirby began with Smash Bros. Melee. I learned about so many Nintendo franchises because of Smash Bros. This was the first time I had seen Kirby. Kirby was one of my favorite fighters to use. His jumping ability got me out of some tough situations. My other exposure to Kirby growing up was the cartoon. Every Saturday I would watch cartoons, and I caught Kirby a good number of times. I would have the game Kirby Air Ride, which my family would play very often. He would grow into one of my favorite characters. In Smash, I would suck up enemies to see the different forms Kirby would take. These alternate forms of Kirby always amused me. Every time I unlocked a new character, I would play as Kirby to see how he looked. I have this obsession with things that take different forms. I like finding out what the other forms this guy could take. This obsession is why I love games with alternate costumes. Pokemon probably started this obsession with Pokemon like Rotom and Castform. The first Kirby game I would beat is Squeak Squad for the DS. I love that game, and I will share a game tale on it in the distant future. This would be the only 2D Kirby game I would 100%. This game hooked me. I wasn't a huge Kirby fan. I like the concept of Kirby, but I haven't played many of his games. I'm just not a huge fan of 2D platformers. My favorite part of platformers is the ability to explore. 3D games just have more exploration by default. That is probably why Sonic is my favorite 2D platformer. Sonic has so many different paths that are fun to find. While writing this video, I had to look up Kirby's pronouns. I'm gonna stick with he, him, since that's the consensus in America. I really liked his gender being ambiguous though. What I liked about Kirby and the Forgotten Land was how it didn't feel like Kirby's first 3D platformer. It felt like Kirby had been 3D the entire time. Basically, it would be like if Super Mario Galaxy was Mario's first 3D game. The way Kirby's mechanics just worked in a 3D space surprised me. I really don't have much to say about this game. It did inspire me to play some older Kirby games. I love Nintendo Switch Online because I wouldn't have bought many of these games if it was up on Virtual Console. Having the ability to play these games with a fair fee allowed me to experience parts of Nintendo history I usually wouldn't buy. I did not get the Switch 2 edition. After seeing what it adds, I decided against spending the extra money. I am not an FPS snob, so I never invest solely on smoother controls. I thought the game ran well enough on the original Switch. It is clear with enemies in the distance, running slower than enemies closer, but that was just a clear workaround for the original Switch. I saw YouTubers talk about the additions, and they seem to agree that it isn't really worth the upgrade. I'm gonna trust them. Since I never beat the post-game, I don't really need an expansion of the game. One day I might beat the post-game and save more Waddle Dees. I started not to buy DLCs as much anymore. Usually I only play the main story and dip. I have too many games on my backlog to sink hours to 100% or play post-game. I have so much on my plate right now. When I had no worries, I bought a good number of games that I still haven't touched. I love that Waddle Dees are like the stars of this game. Saving Waddle Dees always opens parts of the hub world, giving an extra incentive to save more. Basically at the end of every level, there are 3 Waddle Dees freed from their cage. Then each level has hidden objectives that could save more. I liked how if you complete a part of the objective, it is revealed. For example, if the objective is to water 3 flowers, once you water 1, the mission is revealed. This makes it easier to find out what the missions are. The boss level is usually blocked if you don't collect enough Waddle Dees. Also, if you complete a level, one mission is revealed for the next time you play it. Usually in Game Tales, I would dissect the plot of the game, but the plot is way too convoluted. I would basically be reading just the wiki, which you can do if you want. Usually I go through a story with games where choices matter. I really dig the locations in the game. The whole adventure feels so isolated. I like the lonely atmosphere of some levels. My favorite level is Wandardia Remains. This level is an abandoned theme park. Natural Plains, the first level, also has some really cool locations. I love the mall aesthetic with the overgrown vines. I remember watching a show, probably on the History Channel, about what would happen if humans disappeared one day. Natural Plains reminded me of that show. While researching for this episode, I found out that most Kirby games have some insane stories. Maybe one day I will make a video dissecting my favorite Kirby stories, since I read a few and some are really out there. I wouldn't have thought Kirby would have better stories than Mario. I'm going to study Kirby lore, and sometime this year, I'm going to either make a top 10 video on the most bizarre Kirby stories or an overview of the franchise. Kirby and the Forgotten Land really opened my eyes to the wealth of Kirby games. Throughout the year, I will be playing as much as I can. Farewell, Internet Nomad.